Welcome back to the Willis Podcast. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Just checking my mic, making sure it's on. What's happening with you, my good peoples? Yeah. It's a nice show. Outwitting your devil. We'll be sharing a lot of commentary from this book right here. It's called From Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. We're going to jump right into this one because we got a show with AE to do tonight. So I wanted to go into chapter 2 of this book real quick. Chapter 2. A new world is revealed to me. Obviously, I had undergone a new birth by which I had been separated from all forms of fear. I now had a courage such as I had never before had experienced, despite the fact that I had not yet seen, and I had yet been shown how or from what source I would be able to secure the necessary funds which I was seeking. I had such absolute faith that the money would be forthcoming that I could see it already in my possession. On but few occasions in my entire life I have experienced such faith. It was a feeling which one person could not describe to another. There are no words in English language suitable for such description. A fact that all who have a similar experience can easily verify. I proceeded immediately to carry out the instructions I had received, all feelings that I had embarked upon, and impossible missions that had now left me. Once, one by one, I began to call upon my mind the names of all my acquaintances I knew to be financially able to supply me with that 25,000, which I needed to start it. The name which I needed, starting with the name of Henry Ford and going over the entire list of many that kept hundreds, 100 people. My other self plainly said, keep on searching. The darkest hour just before the dawn. But I had come to the end of my rope. My entire list of acquaintances had been exhausted, and with my physical endurance as well, I had been at work, concentrating my mind upon that list of names for the better part of 2 days and nights, having stopped only long enough to sleep for a few hours. I had leaned back in my chair, shut my eyes, and went into a sort of a doze for a minute. And I arose to, by what seemed to be, an explosion in the room. I had regained consciousness. The name of Albert L. Help came into my mind. And with a plan, which I knew instantly to be a plan through which I would succeed by getting Mr. Pelton to publish my book. I remember Mr. Pelton only as an advertiser in the Golden Rule magazine, which I had formerly published. Now check this out. Hill's subconscious mind identified an acquaintance, remembering only as an advertiser in Hill's magazine, as a potential source of funding. You make an impression on everyone you meet, just as everyone that you meet makes an impression on you. You never know when an acquaintance may become a business associate. There is a great power in your network. See, what I'm trying to explain to you is, what this is explaining too is being consistent in the way you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, who you will back and people that will back you. Have you always thought about those things? See, if you got a murky track record and you don't quite do too well with being a dependable person or a thoughtful person or a good coworker or a person that that is dependable, all these things do matter. And sometimes you'll be surprised who depends on you and who really does respect you. And you be careful because you don't want to disrespect that person either. See, some ways you have to understand how to orchestrate your way to outwit the devil. That's what this is. That's one. This what I was explaining. But what I was reading with this was this man was trying to get funding. He had to find who he knew. It's kind of like AE situation. That's why we're going to do a show later. So I don't want to hold you too long. I just want to give you a few more tidbits. All right. Let me see if I want to do a little Q&A. We're going to go with hypnotic rhythm. This is chapter 6. We'll start from here. Yeah. What is the mysterious law through which you take permanent control of people's bodies even before you take over their souls? The whole world will want to know more about this law and how it operates. It would be hard to describe the law so you will understand it, but you can make it hypnotic rhythm. It is the same law through which people can be hypnotized. So, this is the question. So you have the power to use the laws of nature as a web of which you bind your victims in internal control. Is that your claim? This is the answer. That is not only my claim, it is the truth. I take over their minds and their bodies before they die whenever I can lure them or frighten them into hypnotic rhythm. It's the question. What is hypnotic rhythm? How do you use it to gain permanent mastery over human beings? This is the answer. I will have to go back in time and space to give you a brief elemental description of how nature uses hypnotic rhythm. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand my description of how I use the universal law to control human beings. It's another question. Go ahead, but keep your story confined to similar illustrations, which comes within a range of my own experiences and knowledge of natural law. This is your answer. Very well. I shall do my best. You, of course, you know that nature remains a perfect balance between all the elements and all of the energy of the universe. You can see that the stars and the planets move with perfect precision, each one keeping its own place in time and space. You can see that the seasons of the year come and go with perfect regularity, and regularity. You can see that the oak tree grows from the corn and the pine grows from the seed of his ancestor. An acorn never produces a pine, and a pine never produces a product or produces an oak. These are simple things in which anyone can understand and which one cannot see. Is the universal law through which nature maintains perfect balance throughout the myriad of universes. The earthbound caught a fragment glimpse of this great universal law, which Newton discovered that it holds your earth in a position and causes a material object to be attracted towards the center of the earth. He called it the law of gravitation. But which? Whoa. But he did go far enough to study the law. If he had, he would have discovered that the same law which holds the earth in position helps nature maintain a perfect balance over 4 dimensions, in which all matter and energy are contained, is a web in which I entangle and control the minds of human beings. That's saying a whole hell of a lot. That's why I speak so much about fundamentals and understanding and knowing history, knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your elements, knowing how to navigate through this web of the devil. Yeah. Shall I go further? Here's a question. Tell me more of this astonishing law of hypnotic rhythm. As I already stated, there's a universal form of energy in which nature keeps a perfect balance between all matter and energy. She makes specialized use of universal buildings and materials and break it up into different wavelengths. The breakup process is carried on through habit. You will better understand what I am trying to convey if you compare it to a method of which one learns to play music. The first, at first, the notes are memorized in the mind. Then they are related to another thought, melody, and rhythm. By repetition, the melody and rhythm becomes fixed in the mind. Observe how relentlessly the musician must repeat a tune before he masters it. Through repetition and musical notes, blend them. Then you have music, an impulse through that the mind repeats over and over. Through habit forms of organized rhythm. Undesirable habits can be broken, but hold on, they must be broken before they assume the proportion of rhythm. You are following, aren't you? Are you following? Check this out. Yes, I know you follow. Now, yeah, I know you understand what the hell what's really going on in this book. Now, I'm just trying to tell you. This is your answer. Well, to continue rhythm is the last stage of habit. Any thought or physical movement which is repeated over and over through the pinnacle habit finally reaches the portion of rhythm. Then the habit cannot be broken because nature takes it over and makes it permanent. It is something like a whirlpool of water. That object may float indefinitely unless it is caught in a whirlpool. Then it is carried round and round, but it cannot escape the energy within which people think may be compared with water in a river. So you see how some people get caught up in their actual thoughts and mind concepts and they go round and round. But what if those habitual habits are harmful? And that harm comes with that pain, and that's what holds you like a river in a whirlpool. You can't escape your misery because you can't outwit the devil. Oh, there it is. I had to show you the book again. Outwit the damn devil. That's why you always have to try something new. Not physically all the time, mentally. Your emotional concepts and aspirations are extremely powerful and important because this is how you outwit the devil. You have to use you as the only force, but you have to equip yourself with the power. You have to equip yourself with the weapons. Yeah. It's a way to not be in that mental whirlpool of hell that you create for yourself, thinking that other people are supposed to jump in and pull you out. That is something that cannot be done. That's what you have to do because nobody can read your brain. We can't read your mind. We don't know what's in there. Don't nobody know what's in that brain of yours but you. Shall I continue? All right. We're going to walk somewhere else with it, though. Okay? The finiteness or of purpose. The finiteness of purpose, chapter. We're going to go with chapter, this is chapter 8. Trying to get you to see it. Trying to get you to see that chapter 8. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see chapter 8. There we go. I'm putting in the wrong damn count. But hell, I can't even. It won't even show. It probably show when I replay the show. It may show up. We'll see. Your Majesty will now proceed to unfold the secrets of the 7 principles through which human beings may force life to provide them with spiritual, mental, and physical freedom. In the rest of the book, Hill discusses these 7 principles to attain spiritual, mental, and physical freedom. The finiteness of purpose, mastery over self, learning from adversity, controlling environmental influences, associations, time, whew, giving, primacy to positive rather than negative through habits and developing wisdom. Harmony, acting with the finiteness of purpose to become the dominating influence in your own mental, spiritual, and physical environment. Caution, thinking through your plan before you act. These are the principles of the Will This podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot tell you nothing less. That's why I'm the beholder of the books and the behaviors. I'm trying to help you understand. This is how we move forward. This is how we get through all of these adversarial planes that exist like landmines every damn day in our lives. We don't have to take none of that shit. We just got to navigate and see, practice the vision, and get through that thing. You know what I'm talking about? Navigate through it. See your way through. Trying to help you. Shall I continue? I shall. All right. Do not be sparing in your descriptions of these principles. I want a complete illustration of how the principles may be used by anyone who chooses to use them. Tell us, you know about the principles of the finiteness of purpose. You always have to figure out what your purpose is, dive into it, and don't tread water. You swim. You get your way through it. You power your way through it with every breath, with every damn thrust or stroke. Even if you're in that thing, you're thinking about it. How you got to get to that success. You understand? Yeah. Okay. The end. Yeah. Yeah. Goddamn. The interrogator gains some momentum here and goes for the jugular. Do you have the courage at moments of opportunity to act as aggressively and with the finiteness of purpose? This is your answer. Let me tell you something about that. If you go through with this mad idea of publishing my confessions, you will open the gates of hell and turn all the precious souls I have collected back down through the ages. You will deprive me of my soul yet unborn. You will release from my bondage millions now living. Stop, I beg of you. This is the question. Open up. Let's hear what you have to say about the principle of the finiteness of purpose. You are pouring water on the fires of hell, but the responsibility is yours, not mine. I may as well tell you that any human being can be definite in his aims and plans, can make life hand over whatever it wants. Now, here's the question. That is a very broad claim, Your Majesty. Do you wish to tone it down a bit? Tone it down? No! I wish to tone it up. When you hear what I now have to say, you will understand why the principle of the finiteness is so important. My opposition uses a clever little trick to cheat me of my control of over people. The opposition knows that the finiteness of purpose closes the door of one's mind, so to tighten against me that I cannot break through unless I can induce one to form the habit of drifting. That's cold-blooded. So you understand why people that are so wealthy, they got so much and they have so plenty, they just lose themselves. They don't even exist for real no more. They want to do hateful, hurtful things, even kill people, do things that make them feel something. But when you have perverted yourself with no filter, when you never even knew how to take in what you have received. When you do not understand, when you don't even understand how to make money, take money, to make money, and keep money, to be fulfilled, secure, appreciative, humble, justified, and practice justice. That's what it takes. Because when you operate differently, that's when the devil can go for your jugular. We got another show for you tonight with Dr. A.E. I just had to give you a little something special from this book, man. This is a powerful book. You might want to check it out, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich and the bestseller of success book of all time, Outwitting the Devil, The Secrets of Freedom and Success. It's a fine line, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in a few with Dr. A.E. Thank you for tuning in the show. I appreciate you. I love you. Hey, you'll see me again in a little bit. But hey, gotta get to the favorite part of the show. You know what it is. The wheel is go. Don't forget that shit. These